everyone, and welcome to NYSC TV Live. I'm Kristen Scholler, coming to you from above the New York Stock Exchange. And this morning, the four-time Super Bowl champion New York Giants will ring the opening bell as that franchise celebrates the 100th season as a team. We'll provide you with exclusive coverage surrounding today's event. And in just a few minutes, we'll take you live into the boardroom for an exclusive look where Giants CEO, president, and co-owner John Mara will deliver remarks and receive an NYSC medallion. Well, after the Giants sign the distinguished guest book on the trading floor, several executive and notable attendees will make their way up to that bell podium. And at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, ring the bell to kick off a U.S. equity trade for the day. And after the opening bell, a pair of Giants Super Bowl champions, we're talking Victor Cruz and David Tyree. They're going to join our broadcast live to discuss the significance of being at the exchange and the centennial celebration that's going to take place throughout this 2024 season. Now, while the Giants enter the spotlight here at the stock exchange this morning, investors will also be dissecting some fresh economic data that came in just about 30 minutes ago. That, of course, is the crucial August jobs report. Now, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the economy added 142,000 jobs last month. That was a little bit below expectations. The influx of jobs data this week, including the JOLTS report on Wednesday, private payrolls and claims on Thursday, and the August jobs report today does kick off a very busy stretch of economic data. While this week was all about jobs, next week will center around inflation. Consumer prices fell to a three-year low in July, and we'll see if that number continued to fall in August when the Bureau of Labor Statistics releases its August data on Wednesday. Well, one day later, we'll learn more about wholesale prices when new PPI data comes out. And of course, all eyes will be on the Fed Chair Jerome Powell in mid-September when the Fed convenes for its latest policy decision. It is widely anticipated that the central bank will cut rates for the first time in over a year. Of course, we haven't seen rate cuts since those dramatic drops at the start of the pandemic. It's been a lot of rate hikes of late. But joining me now to break down everything we need to know about the jobs report, how it impacts you as an American, and of course your money. Joining me now is JD Durkin, host for Public.com and contributor at CBS News. He's a diehard Giants fan. And before we talk about the Giants, JD, let's break down this morning's jobs report. Your takeaways.
Well, the takeaway is that I suppose it could have been worse, Kristen, especially when you looked at those ADP private payroll figures yesterday that really seemed to shockingly disappoint at only 99,000. I think even if expectations today for the BLS number were around 162 to 165, even this print of 142, I think might be presumed to be a bit better given how the number we saw yesterday was. And of course, having unemployment now fall from 4.3 to 4.2% as expected. I was taking a close look at the CME Group FedWatch tool to get a sense on how investors are pricing in the potential for a 25 or a 50 basis point cut. Right before we came on air, 59% is where we're up to right now for a 25 basis point cut, or 0.25% off of the federal funds rate. I think there had been some chatter to say, well, if it's a really disappointing jobs report, does that put a jumbo rate cut on the table for the Fed? But obviously a really important piece of data for the FOMC to take into consideration as we get closer to September 18th.
And we've been talking about inflation for so long because the Fed has almost solely been focused on that, even though we know it has a dual mandate. In that latest meeting in July, finally, jobs did take more of a center stage and was actually on the docket that the Fed voiced in terms of what will go into its next policy decision September 18th. So not necessarily, JD, a report, as you mentioned, that moved the needle per se, but how does jobs fit into the Fed's broader dual mandate?
Well, we've even heard from Jay Powell a lot this summer to say we have focused on the first part of the dual mandate for quite some time, but now it's the softening labor market conditions that maybe we should be putting a bit more of an emphasis on. Not necessarily that inflation has gotten down to 2%. If you look at core PCE, arguably the most important inflation gauge, it's still at about 2.5, 2.6 or so, not quite there to 2%, but it sort of seemed as if Fed officials had confidence to say inflation is moving in the direction we need to, which is great. Now we can focus a little bit on the labor market conditions, and we are seeing hiring decelerating, as we just saw reaffirmed about 35 minutes ago. The manufacturing sector slipping a little bit closer into contraction territory, and despite overall a very resilient U.S. economy, these concerns are now persisting a little bit more about the state of the labor market, and I think that does sort of show where the Fed is now putting its influence, even if there are politicians who say, and we're hearing this in the campaign trail, maybe the Fed should no longer have that dual mandate, just focus on one and not both. But for the time being, we certainly know they're focused on both.
And you mentioned a bit of a muted reaction. We've seen futures gain a little bit of ground in the wake of this, but nothing too dramatic. Takeaways from this first full week of September trade. Of course, we know the markets were closed on Monday for the Labor Day holiday, but it is the first week kicking off September, the final month of the third quarter.
Final month of the quarter, and also historically the weakest month for equities, so maybe not a big surprise. We're kicking things off here in the month of September, unfortunately, to have 3 consecutive down days overall for the S&P 500. So obviously we're in this wait and see territory for the central bank in terms of the path forward on monetary policy. We're through the big bulk of earnings season, though we did see movement after big names like Nvidia and others. Broadcom down significantly after hours yesterday. I expect that to be a focus for investors today, and hopefully we get a little bit of green on the board. Green is not one of the colors for the New York Giants, but it'd be nice to have some green on the big board to end the week today.
Look, they play on that fresh green field. I think that they like the color green.
Fair enough. I think, yeah, you're not wrong.
You're a Giants fan, aren't you?
I love the New York football team. Krista, you've known me a long time. I love this franchise so much. I'm so excited. I've wanted my entire career to find an excuse to wear a Giants jersey during a TV interview. Thank you for letting me do this.
I was going to say, we didn't really state the obvious here, but this is number 80. Whose jersey is this?
This is the great Victor Cruz of Paterson, New Jersey, a Jersey guy just like me. He was undrafted, UMass Amherst, was an absolute legend his rookie year, won the Super Bowl, a beloved fan favorite, longtime New York Giant. I'll wear this jersey the rest of my life, I think. And he's going to be here, and you'll be chatting with him. And this is what it's all about. This is absolutely awesome today here at the NYSE.
It is very much exciting. We're going to get those exclusive remarks from the boardroom, of course, momentarily, both from the Giants members and the New York Stock Exchange, President Lynn Martin. So we'll await those remarks. JD, I also want to ask you about inflation. Probably if anyone's been to a football game of late in the past few years, they have seen just how much inflation has risen. We're going to take a look at the boardroom, and then we'll come back with more.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Chris Taylor, Global Head of Listings and lifelong Giants fan. And on behalf of all of my colleagues, it is my privilege to welcome the New York Giants to the New York Stock Exchange as we celebrate this storied franchise's centennial season by ringing today's opening bell. Welcome, everyone. So, John, welcome to you and the Mira family and the Tisch family as well. It's great to have everyone here. Victor Cruz, David Tyree, former players, number 59 on the top 100 list. Victor Cruz, congratulations. Welcome back to the NYSE. So we'd love to talk about the history of the New York Stock Exchange. And, we've been here for 232 years. It's an amazing history. But today I'm going to switch this a little bit and talk about the interconnected history between the New York Giants and the New York Stock Exchange. Not only are we connected by name, of course, but also through some history, which is really interesting. First, Steve Mira, welcome back. 35 years on the trading floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Great to have you. For most of our history, the exchange was a member-owned organization. We're now a publicly traded company. But from 1792 to 1970, it was predominated by white males who owned the New York Stock Exchange. Our first black member of the New York Stock Exchange was a gentleman named Joseph Searles III, who became a member in 1970 for a company called Neuberger Loeb, which traded on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Little known fact, Joseph Searles played for the New York Giants in 1967. So another amazing piece of history. And last but certainly not least, we have a great relationship with the Tisch family. They list their companies, Lowe's and CNA, on the New York Stock Exchange. They're part of what we call the greatest community of companies on earth, 2,400 companies from 48 countries around the world that make up the New York Stock Exchange. So I feel this is the best way, at least for us, to kick off the NFL season and what's been an amazing celebration of 100 years of the New York Giants. So I will call up my fellow lifelong Giants fan, President and CEO of the New York Stock Exchange, Lynn Martin. Lynn.
Thank you.
for some football? So today's a special day at 11 Wall as we kick off the latest football season and the centennial year for the New York Giants. And we're clearly a historic institution, an iconic New York institution, 232 years old. We like to look at you guys as our younger cousin, and also an iconic institution, New York institution, 100 years old. Now, when talking about history, we talk about our history a lot. I'd like to spend a couple minutes talking about your history. Now, when I look at your history, I could highlight, milestones like the founding of the New York Giants for $500, as I learned in 1925. Or I could talk about the amazing players that have come through the organization, those Hall of Fame years where you have the Frank Giffords, the Sam Huffs, the Roosevelt Browns coming through the organization. Or I could talk about some of the greatest games, like the greatest game in 1958 versus the Colts. I'm not going to do that. And I'm certainly not going to talk about those years from the 60s to roughly 85. Those years didn't happen. We'll just fast forward. Like any historic institution, we don't talk about those types of things. So now I'm going to talk about my own personal history with the Giants. Let's fast forward to 1985, 1986, the mid-80s. I grew up in a Giants household. Growing up in a Giants household means one thing. Nothing else happens on Sunday or Monday night, depending on when the Giants were playing. I don't care if there's an earthquake, a hurricane, the Giants are on. That is all that matters in the world. In fact, my dad, I think, bought a VCR. We were one of the first people to have a VCR solely to record New York Giants games. So if you actually look in their house, it's a treasure trove of historic Giants footage from the 80s onward. So fast forward to a day that you all know in this room, January 25th, 1987. My God, it was like a combination of the Pope, the Queen, winning the lottery in my household, because that was when the Giants returned to greatness, thanks to some fine players, Mr. Sims, Mr. Bavaro, Mr. McConkey, who was actually here a couple months ago to tell us about his own history. And I don't think I've ever seen my family so happy. But I like to think of that as the turning point for always fielding a team that could be a champion within the organization. So moving to modern day, February 3rd, 2008. Man, what the hell did you have on that helmet? Was it crazy glue? Dude, it is my favorite fun fact to tell any Patriots fan. I actually do this a lot to Patriots fans. That catch, I remember sitting in my living room absolutely astonished that you caught that pass. It's interesting because there are so many things you remember in life, but there are these moments of clarity, and that was certainly one. And it will live in all Giants fans' memories that catch not only won them the championship, it was the beginning of momentum, it ruined Belichick's perfect season, ruined the Patriots' perfect season, and any Giants fan is proud as heck of that moment. And then I'm going to move over to another day in my own personal history, February 5th, 2012. Now, I was feeling not good. I was feeling not good because we're playing the Patriots again. But I was also 7 months pregnant. So I was sitting on my couch feeling not good at all. And any of you who either have had children or are the dads that have produced children, you know that you don't feel good at 7 months. I felt really good around the third quarter. For probably the only time during that pregnancy, too. I give you those moments in personal history to illustrate three things. Number one, thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you to your whole family on behalf of all the fans. Because there's a lot of things you remember in life, but there are very few things you remember as clear as when your team has those moments that I just illustrated. 2, you're born a Giants fan. It's just the way it is. And I'm honored to be here with 3 generations of Giants fans from my own family. My dad and my son, who was in my belly when Manning threw the pass to Manningham and started that comeback in 12. You're born a Giants fan. You bleed big blue. And 3, just to congratulate you on 100 years. It's hard to build an iconic institution. It's hard to lead an iconic institution. And it's hard to take it forward. You do that incredibly well. So cheers to you for the next 100 years. John, why don't you come on up?
Thank you very much, Lynn. I can't tell you what an honor it is for us to be here today. On behalf of the Mara and Tisch families, thank you so much for inviting us down here. This is an honor we do not take lightly. You know, on the way down here, I was just thinking about what my grandfather could possibly have been thinking about 99 years ago when he started this franchise for the sum of $500, having never seen a football game before. The quote that he often used was, an empty storefront in New York City is worth $500. So here we are 99 years later, starting our 100th season, and we've had so many great memories and so many great moments, some not so good moments also, but that's what happens when you're in this business. But one of the things that has always struck me is there is no other fan base, in my opinion, in all of professional sports that is as loyal as Giants fans are. You guys stick with us through thick and thin. You come back every year. You live and die just like we do each Sunday during the fall and during the winter. And it's my fervent hope that this year, our 100th season, we can give you a team and a season that you can be proud of. So thank you very much for having us here today. We are honored and humbled, and we look forward to a great season. Thank you.
So we have a couple of traditions at the New York Stock Exchange. You don't turn 232 years old without having one or two. One of the traditions we have is we present our bell ringer every morning with a medallion. John, it is my absolute honor to present you, the Mara family, and the Tisch family with today's bell.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you.
Do I have to share this with the Tisch family?
No, you don't.
Thank you very much.
Possessions is 9/10 of the law, right? And one of the other traditions we have is no one goes away empty-handed, so you all will receive a slightly smaller medallion to remind you of your time with us today. We have on the front of the medallion are our 6 pillars, which stand for a variety of things, but importantly, they stand for access to free markets around the globe. And on the back is the buttonwood tree, where we were founded under 232 years ago.
And then we have this gift for you.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
A blue box to match the blue, match Giants blue, right? All right, I'm going to turn it back to our hosts on the webcast to take us through the rest of the morning, and we'll meet them downstairs.
All right, of course, our thanks there to New York Stock Exchange President Lynn Martin might rival J.D. Durkin here on set for the biggest Giants fan in the house today, as well as the co-owner, John Mara. J.D., tell me more about your personal connection to the Giants. You're going to be at the game on Sunday.
I'll be at the game on Sunday. I am a proud Giants season ticket holder, and I was getting a little emotional when Lynn was talking because she talks about the family connection for a team like this. I think all sports in general, but especially for the New York Football Giants, this team is family. And Kristen, you and I have known each other a long time. I lost my late father about 2.5 years ago. He's the reason that I love this fan base as much as I do. I'm so proud to carry on the tradition of our season tickets for our family. We'll have about 20 people out there at MetLife Stadium against the Vikings on Sunday. It's our tradition we've been doing since I was a little kid, and there's nothing I would rather do for kickoff weekend than to be out there at MetLife for the Giants. We love this team. They mean so much to us. And Lynn's recollections of those Super Bowl championships was so cool to hear.
It was.
From 2008 and 2012. Absolutely awesome.
It's always so nice to put the personal story and the personal connection to the fan base that we see, obviously so loyal, and 100 years that the Giants can celebrate. I'm going to be rooting for you, JD, and your crew on Sunday. The Giants as well, naturally. But I'm just curious here in terms of what you're expecting from the season. We're going to hear from some of the former players in a bit, but anything in focus for you this season for the Giants?
I mean, not to get too into the weeds here, but like every other Giants fan, I'm really excited about the new look offensive line. You got to protect your quarterback. They went out, they got great additions like John Runyon there on the left side, so that's something exciting for fans. And it's also worth noting for anyone who doesn't know, the Giants are wearing a really unique Century Red uniform on Sunday. The type of uniform they have not worn in many, many decades. It's sort of to honor the 100-year tradition. Red uniforms, we're all really excited for that. And yeah, I mean, you know, win or lose, we love the Giants. I mean, I'm out there the last game of the year, even if it's a bit of a disappointing season. I'm one of those fans who still shows up in the freezing cold, and I think it'll be a good year this year, though, for sure.
Very impressive, to say the least. We're going to see those players make their way down here to the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, ring that opening bell, and of course, we're going to hear from Chris Taylor in just a few moments. He actually kicked off the actual ceremony there in the boardroom, an exclusive look that we're able to provide you on NYSC TV. Chris Taylor, also a major Giants fan.
Oh yeah.
You're going to be looking for Victor Cruz in the audience down there.
Yeah, you're not kidding. I don't get starstruck very easily, and you and I have been down here for a long time. We've seen our fair share of celebrities and CEOs. When someone like Victor Cruz comes down here, that'll be the one where I'm like, wait, where is he? I really want to see him and be like an everyday fan, because it's such a rare experience, but absolutely awesome, though, as a Giants fan. And I say, you know, one of my favorite things about the New York Stock Exchange, this is such a great New York sports community.
Yes.
So many people down here, born and raised in the tri-state area like I am. I'm proudly born and raised in North Jersey. I've loved this team, like I said, my whole life. And to come down here and have the conversations about the heart of the New York sports franchises with everyone on the floor is one of my favorite things to do all year, especially for today ahead of kickoff on Sunday.
So I'm going to try to catch David Tyree, if you get where I'm going there.
I get what you're going.
The infamous helmet catch.
You're not kidding.
We've seen Eli Manning down here on the floor at least once in the past few years or so. Of course, a Giants legend as well. Took the Giants to two Super Bowl wins, both against the Patriots.
It's amazing.
And one, including David Tyree with that infamous helmet catch.
It was amazing.
You remember that?
I do. I remember? I was at that game, as a matter of fact. Super Bowl 42 with my late father, with my brother in Arizona. You know, we went into it thinking, okay, Giants are heavy underdogs in this. They probably won't win the game, but it's a great experience nonetheless. And they shocked the world. And you could hear the enthusiasm when people like Chris or Lynn or myself talk about it, even all these years later. It means so much to us.
JD, always good to get your insight, of course. A very valued member down here on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange in the NYC community. And it'll be good to see both Victor Cruz and, of course, David Tyree as well.
Thanks for letting me wear my jersey and live out my lifelong dream of doing this. Good to be with you, Kristen. Thank you.
Thank you, JD. All right, well, the start of football season does present a golden opportunity for many different businesses, including sports betting. FanDuel, one of the NFL's exclusive sports betting partners, was here at the Stock Exchange earlier this year when its parent company, Flutter, listed on the exchange with the ticker symbol FLUT. Our Judy Shaw spoke with Flutter's CEO Peter Jackson about the achievement. Take a listen.
Flutter owns FanDuel, which is obviously the #1 sports betting business here in the United States. And so we decided it was an important opportunity for us to list our shares here and let American investors invest and participate. And from a corporate perspective, it gives us access to the biggest capital market in the world.
So Peter, what's your pitch to US investors?
Our pitch is very straightforward. You buy Flutter, you get access to FanDuel, the #1 sportsbook in America. You also get access to our international business. Historically, we've grown revenues 5 to 10%. We're #1 in a number of important markets around the world, and there's lots of runway for future growth for the business.
Now tell me, how has app-based sports betting changed the way that fans engage with sports?
it's had an enormous difference. If you look at viewership in football, it was in decline. If you're watching a game now and you got your $20 parlay bet, you're going to watch right to the end to see whether your bet comes in or not. So it's made a big difference to engagement, particularly in games which otherwise may not have been that exciting.
And what are you doing to protect customers?
We spend a lot of time around the world really focused on responsible gambling. We're trying to lead the race to the top. It's really important from our perspective that our customers are safe and secure on our platform. So we take hundreds of millions of dollars out of our business. We have tools in place for customers to put in place deposit limits, to take breaks, or even self-exclude if they need to.
How does Flutter use technology and data?
If you think about when a game is live, so last night when the Lions are playing, we are constantly repricing hundreds of markets. We're looking at the bet streams of data, what our customers want to balance the book. So we're a very data intensive business. We have 1,000 people working our business doing data analytics and repricing billions of data points a day. So we're not unlike the stock exchange, actually.
Our thanks there to Judy Shaw, and later on in today's show, I'm going to be joined by Matt King. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Fanatics Betting and Gaming, about his company's plan during this NFL season, which officially kicked off last night. We are going to go down to the floor eventually here. The Giants preparing to ring that opening bell, and I do want to send things down to Trinity Chavez with more. Trinity.
Thanks so much, Kristen. I am joined now with Chris Taylor, Global Head of Listings here at the New York Stock Exchange. And wow, what an exciting day we have here today on the floor. Over 200 people watching the Giants ring the opening bell. Chris, talk to me about the significance behind this.
Well, there's a couple points of significance. One is, the Giants are a storied franchise in the NFL, really the most popular sport in the United States, one of the most popular sports in the world. 100 years is an incredible achievement for any business, for any franchise. Personally, I grew up as a Giants fan with my family. My dad was a season ticket holder. I'd go to the games with my brothers. My sister would go. So it just means a lot to folks in New York, in New Jersey, in Connecticut. We live and die every Sunday with the results of Giants games, no doubt.
Now we have over 2,400 listed companies here at the New York Stock Exchange. We are the largest exchange in the world in terms of market cap, right? So talk to me about how we work together with the Giants community, with the New York Stock Exchange to continue to do what we do here every day and just, celebrate monuments like this.
Well, if you look around at a lot of the screens, we have partners of the New York Giants. So Verizon's, Citizens, Quest Diagnostics, all big partners. Moody's, all big partners of the Giants. They're also listed on the New York Stock Exchange. And then we have the connection with one of the families that owns the Giants, the Tisch families, who have Lowe's and C&A Financial listed here on the New York Stock Exchange. So there's so many points of connection with the New York Giants and the New York Stock Exchange.
Now, earlier this year, you were on hand for your alma mater's championship celebration. So tell me a little bit about that, and now how it feels to have your favorite football team celebrating 100 years here at the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah, the UConn Huskies and the New York Giants are 1 and 1A for me. The Knicks are right there as well. So, there could be a little personal influence bleeding into my professional life, getting the Huskies and the Giants here to the New York Stock Exchange. But obviously, they're both deserving franchises and universities. So it's very, very special for me personally.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Chris. I'm going to let you continue the celebration and go hang out with your favorite football team. Oh, look, he didn't even say bye. That's exciting. How excited he was. But come on, I want to take a look at this crowd right here. Like I said, there's over 200 people who are attending just to watch the opening bell happen right now at the New York Stock Exchange. Millions of people from around the world are tuning in to watch the Giants ring that bell, bring in the 100th anniversary of their celebration today. 4-time Super Bowl championships. We're going to be speaking with Victor Cruz here in just a little bit. And I do want to point out right now that, the traders are getting ready to open up the U.S. equity market. So this is why also the crowd is buzzing with excitement. We're about 30 seconds out from ringing the opening bell and seeing what this market is going to do. See, look, the crowd right behind me is getting super excited. As a matter of fact, we're about 10 seconds out right now. So I'm going to turn it over and we're going to watch the Giants open up the U.S. equity markets. And then I'll join you right back here on the trading floor.
Welcome back to NYSC TV Live, everyone. I'm Kristen Scholler down here on the floor of the Stock Exchange. We are officially off to the races in the markets. You saw the opening bell ceremony up there earlier. And I do want to bring in a major guest here. Jerry Foley is a senior manager for Ice Connect Flex Sales and senior editor and co-host of the Giant Insider podcast. He's going to join me now. Jerry, come on in. All right, it's great to have you down here on the floor of the Stock Exchange. I'm going to do a little switcheroo here, but you have one of the infamous Giants podcasts. Yes. Tell me more about it.
Yeah, so it was funny. We started it a few years ago, maybe 2019. I didn't even know what a podcast was at the time, and it's really taken off. And the great thing about it is we talk Giants, and you get to meet a lot of people through it. So interviewing a lot of old players, a lot of the 86 Giants, a lot of even some more current players. So it's just a lot of fun, and it's a great way to meet other Giant fans on social media.
What does today mean to you, the fact that the Giants are celebrating their 100th season here at an iconic institution?
I mean, to bring the Giants and the Stock Exchange together, I mean, it's incredible. Two iconic institutions, like you said, and to be able to help facilitate that with the Giants here, it means the world. 100th anniversary, they're doing the top 100 players, and the season kicks off soon, so it's incredible that John Mara and then heroes like Victor Cruz and David Tyree are here as well, so it's incredible.
Victor Cruz, David Tyree, they're going to join us a little bit later on in the show. Of course, we're going to hear from our podcast host as well. What makes for a good Giants podcast?
Look, I mean, I think being honest, but also, having enthusiasm and passion about the team. I mean, football is awesome, and the Giants make it even better. So I just think it's being engaged with your followers, having good guests, and being consistent as well, putting out an episode every week, and then, and being honest, right, and being fair. Like after losses, you have to talk about the losses, but being sure to celebrate the wins as well. So I would say all those things.
And in terms of what you expect from the Giants this season, what can you share with us?
10-7. I think playoffs are definitely reasonable as long as they get off to a good start and not the nightmare that happened last year, where the first game where they lost. So I think if they win the first two, they could have a good season ahead of them.
Interesting. So you probably remember the infamous helmet catch. We're going to talk to David Tyree a little bit later about that. What was that like watching that?
I cried tears of joy. I mean, it was ridiculous. As soon as he made that catch, we knew we were going to beat the 18. And I say we because, you're invested in the team. It's we. The 18-0 Patriots, once he made that catch, you're like, they're not losing this game. It was voted the most iconic play in Giants history for a reason, and it still is. It always will be. Ridiculous play and just a great memory. But I remember watching it with 30 Giant fans and just, multiple people watching the game just crying, tears of joy.
Talk to me about the connection here. Of course, you're a member of the Intercontinental Exchange family as well. You look at a lot of data, and I'm sure in your podcast, data is very much a focus of it. How do you connect those dots?
Yeah, so I'm on the Connect Flex implementation team. It's a web-based GUI that targets the middle and back office for folks who are looking for reference data, pricing, corporate actions, and analytics. And then, doing the podcast as well. It's helped me to actually present, right? So when I'm doing presentations of Connect Flex, having a podcast that's on YouTube and all the podcast channels, it actually kind of coincides with each other, so it's helped me.
Very interesting. And in terms of what you're looking for from the overall NFL season, of course, officially kicking off last night, I was personally tuned into the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce storyline. I'm not sure if that's something that you do discuss on the Giants podcast. What do you think she's done for the NFL?
I think it's been huge. I think it's brought in more people who never watched football before. I think she's brought that element to it. So it's been successful for the NFL, absolutely.
In terms of connecting with your own podcast community, here in the Northeast, there are so many Giants fans. We see a lot of them down here on this busy trading floor today. How are you able to do that and build that community with the Giants fan base here in the Northeast?
Well, I mean, to be honest, there's a lot of people overseas as well. So we're on every podcast platform. And then this helps. I mean, we have a Twitter following of about 50,000 people. So it's just going to add more and more followers and have more people watching us and listening to us. So what's interesting to me is all the international listeners as well. But no, an event like this is only going to increase our followers and increase the interaction with our podcast.
Jerry Foley, thank you so much for joining. Great to get your inside knowledge as a key Giants podcaster. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, so let's take a quick break here, toss to some video, and we'll see you on the other side of this video.
When you're a sports fan, you don't just notice the athlete, you notice the uniform. And that is why we are so excited to welcome Amer Sports to our community. You outfit some of the greats. You are truly elevating the world through sports.
It's my pleasure to greet you today from the center of the U.S. capital markets here at the New York Stock Exchange. I want to extend my deep thanks and congratulations to all of you. Your dedication and hard work as a team show that we are better together. Together, we have an exciting future ahead. So let's continue our journey by staying true to who we are, working as one team, aiming for excellence.
Welcome back to NYC TV Live. I'm Trinity Chavez, and joining me now is Lance Glynn. He is the producer for the Inside the Ice House podcast here at the New York Stock Exchange. Good morning, Lance.
Good morning, Trinity. How are you?
I'm amazing. I mean, we have such a great crowd here. The Giants, I mean, everyone's a Giants fan here. I mean, come on. This is our New York team. And from what I understand, obviously you're a huge fan, but one of your earliest memories with the Giants involves an NYC-listed company. Talk to me about it.
It does. So it was 2008, right after the Giants defeated the Patriots 17-14 in the Super Bowl. Of course, who could forget the New York Giants ending the Patriots' undefeated season? My family, all Giants fans, we went to Dick's Sporting Goods that night. It was about 11:30 at night. Dick's open longer than they usually do because the Giants obviously won the Super Bowl. Myself, my family, and about 500 other Giants fans packed Dick's. We got our Super Bowl gear. I was I think, freshman in high school at the time, or maybe in middle school too. Got our Giants gear. We wore it to school the next day. I was so excited. It was such a cool moment, and it was bringing all Giants fans together in celebration of the Super Bowl victory.
And we're getting shots right now of Victor Cruz. He just was talking with Laura Dioria. Laura, she manages all the social media here at the New York Stock Exchange, and we're going to be speaking with him in just a few moments. But you're also working with the Giants team earlier this morning for the podcast itself. So talk to me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so we'll be joined by Victor Cruz, of course, New York Giants legend, and David Tyree, another New York Giants legend who famously made that helmet catch against the Patriots in the 2008 Super Bowl 42 victory. So we're excited to have them on, talk to them about their careers, their time as New York Giants, and what it means to be a part of the Giants organization now celebrating its 100th season.
Amazing. And quickly, we have about 45 seconds left. So what are you looking forward to most this football season?
I'm just looking forward to the Giants being a surprise team this year, shocking the world, making it back to the postseason, and really having a successful, as I said before, 100th season to really cap off what's been a great century of New York Giants football.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Lance. I'll let you get back to work.
Thanks, Trinity.
Now make sure to listen, review, and subscribe to the Inside the Ice House podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Join us every Monday for conversations with leaders, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. You can scan the QR code right here to listen to the most recent episodes. Now, Victor Cruz and David Tyree, both Super Bowl champions, will join us here on the trading floor a little bit after a quick word from the NYSE. We'll be right back.
Together, we built something truly beautiful in the true iconic notion of what America is all about.
This is our task, this is our mission. We have a clear focus and we have the ability to be agile and innovate.
It takes years of dedication to get us to this milestone. It is all because of you.
Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. It is the only thing that ever has.
To be a woman leader, it's not so easy, but it's easy if the passion and the love is coming from your heart.
The New York Stock Exchange is the symbol of what America is all about. Potential of capitalism, the potential of an American dream.
The only way you can move a society forward is a true expression of freedom.
Joining me now is Super Bowl 46 champion Victor Cruz. And Victor, you are back here at the New York Stock Exchange. You've been here once before, but talk to me about your past time and being here now, the significance behind this, and celebrating 100 years with the Giants.
Yeah, the last time I was here, I was benefiting my foundation, just talking about it, giving people insight on what was going on with my foundation, the things we were serving. We serve STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math. So we were just doing some talk around that. And today I'm here for the 100-year anniversary of the New York Football Giants. Obviously, a team that changed my life and changed my world. So the fact to be here and ring the bell, be here with our ownership, it's just a beautiful time.
It's really an incredible story, and you've really leaned into the entrepreneur side of things, especially with your football career. So talk to me about balancing both of those things and what advice you would give to young entrepreneurs, young athletes who are also looking to do the same thing, and what you've learned along the way.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the important part is to understand that whatever you want to do in life long term, do it now. Start while you're an athlete. It doesn't matter if you're playing now. You have other interests that you have as a human being, and always do things that you love. I never wanted to do anything that was outside of my character or outside of my purview of things that I loved, because if you love it, you'll have a liking to it and you'll want to do it each and every day. So as an entrepreneur, all the young entrepreneurs out there, do the things that you love, not something that you're forced to do or something that you're just doing for the moment.
And you know what, great advice as you're here in the cradle of capitalism, the heart of the global financial markets, you know, giving that key advice. But you've also had an impressive career. So you caught a touchdown pass in the Giants Super Bowl 46, wins over the Patriots. Whether was that a TD or your 142 performance in the NFC title game, or, you know, you've had several key milestone moments throughout your career. But talk to me about your favorite moment, what you've learned, and how you apply that to your entrepreneurship.
Oh man, I think my favorite moment has to be just making the team. I think coming up as an undrafted free agent, everybody knows making a football team, a professional football team, isn't an easy thing to do. So to come out of those gates, first game ever as a New York Giant against the Jets back in 2010, to come out with 3 touchdowns and solidify my position on the football team was a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I think that taught me to just persevere. I think perseverance is a real thing, understanding that no matter where you're at in the chart, where you're at in life, you can put your head down and focus and persevere, and good things will come from that.
Focus and persevere. What great advice. But you know, I couldn't leave this conversation without asking you about your infamous dance moves. I mean, come on. Talk to me about what inspired you about that and the story behind how you started doing this salsa after every touchdown.
Well, I'm half Puerto Rican, so I grew up in a very Hispanic household. My mother, my grandmother, my grandfather, like, we all danced salsa growing up in our living rooms, and my grandmother was the one who taught me, as much as I hated it when I was 9, 10, 11 years old, but now it's paid some dividends. And then when I got to the NFL, one of my coaches just enticed me to just represent my culture. At first, I didn't know what he meant, because as an undrafted free agent, you're just trying to make the team. You're trying not to stumble under your own shoelaces and do the right things for a Hall of Fame quarterback in Eli Manning. But once he told me, I kind of understood what he was saying. And my first catch in the game was a one-hander up the sideline, and I was like, all right, I got to do this dance now, and immediately just took form, and here we are.
And speaking of having to do the dance now, can you give us a little preview? Come on, we got to do a little. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Oh,
wait, so should we go on the right or the left?
We go right, and then we go left. Then we go
right.
Hey,
left.
She's got it.
I'm Latina. Come on, my God, it's from Mexico.
Of course.
All right. Oh, you're gonna have to come back and give us and the whole team a few more dance moves, okay?
Anytime.
All right. You got to hear right here first. He's gonna come back and give us all dance moves at the New York Stock Exchange. Anyway, it was great having you. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today, and we look forward to seeing continued success.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right. Take care. Now we're gonna go to a few live looks on the floor, and we'll be right back.
All right, everyone. Welcome back here. We are down here on the floor of the Stock Exchange. Joining me now is Super Bowl 42 champion David Tyree, who's with the Giants for 6 seasons. David, welcome to the show and congratulations on 100 years. This franchise celebrating, of course, as we kick off the NFL season.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's definitely an energetic day down here on the floor. Amazing that two iconic institutions in New York City come together and celebrate 100 years.
And, of course, everyone remembers you for the infamous helmet catch, of course, that allowed the Giants to defeat the Patriots in the Super Bowl 42. What does it feel like to have that moment stick with you really for life?
Yeah, it's overwhelming. Those are moments that you can't really plan, even dream. So I always try to steward it as a gift. But when you think about being part of a great organization like the New York Football Giants, having iconic, like in New York City, right? You're talking about the biggest stage and be connected to the history of the game that kind of raised me up. So, yeah, this is where I've always wanted to be, and obviously still be a part of this organization to celebrate 100 years. This is good. This is where dreams come true.
You're going to be watching the game on Sunday, I take it?
Absolutely. I'm all locked in. We got a new neighbor in town. Excited about Malik Neighbors, the wide receiver, first-round draft pick. But there's lots of excitement in general for the season and with high expectations for the team to continue to improve.
Yeah, what else are you looking forward to this season as it officially kicks off?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I'm just looking for is just the steady improvement. I've kind of bought into the belief that there's, under Joe Shane, that there's a steady, incremental success toward improving the roster. Offensive line looks to be a little bit stronger, so we're gonna look to see some development there. My eyes are big on that offensive line right now, and but I'm all big blue, so I'm expecting them to continue to improve.
What is some of the advice that you'd give to the next gen of wide receivers who are playing in the NFL now?
Yeah, I say it's really. This is the statement of the catch can feed the dream and paint the reality. I think the NFL experience is a unique experience. So continue to dream, set the goals, the bar, the vision extremely high, but also recognize the reality. Have enough self-awareness to maximize your current reality. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses, know your opportunities, know your threats, and get great done.
Okay, so David, where are you going to be watching the game this Sunday?
I'll be at MetLife all day. MetLife all day. Obviously, there's going to be some great activations from the team. I get a chance to participate, celebrate with the fans, get in there, celebrate the helmet catch, keep the good times rolling, and hopefully we get this win against the Minnesota Vikings.
What do you think can shepherd the Giants into this next 100 years? What can set it up for success?
Yeah, it goes back to us for defense, man. At the end of the day, the New York Football Giants this city is about the everyone coming together and having a certain grit and determination. I think every team wants to take on the fabric of its own city. And so high expectations in New York City, so we expect you to be the best. And I think that starts with defense, protecting the interests of this amazing franchise, this amazing city. So with the addition of Brian Burns, obviously a really strong front line up front. Front seven looks pretty good. Hopefully DBs, we'll look for that defense to anchor the way.
David Tyree, thank you so much for joining. Truly a pleasure. We appreciate it.
Have a great time.
Thank you. All right, well, Fanatics Betting and Gaming CEO Matt King is going to join us up next to talk about the company's strategy for this NFL season. But first, here's a quick word from the company.
This football season, Fanatics Sportsbook is where fans play on game day. So, we're counting down to kickoff with a $5 million jersey drop. Jerseys are dropping every single day. Just log in daily for your chance to win. Plus, new customers sign up and get up to $1,000 in bonus bets. It's time to suit up for season opener. This is Fanatics Sportsbook, the most rewarding sportsbook.
Learning and development at ICE is all about empowering our employees, leveraging the amazing amount of knowledge that we have across the business.
We've put quite a bit of investment in our programs just in the last couple of years. It's exciting, frankly, at this point where we are.
What I love best about working at ICE is that it's a multinational company with people from all over the world that hold tremendous amount of knowledge and expertise in whatever it is that they do.
I've found opportunities in this industry, in this field, to serve people and to help people with their careers.
I love to teach. I think think it's a beautiful position to be in, to share knowledge and to see people get better from what you give them. This company always keeps me on my toes because it's continuously expanding, growing into new fields in the financial landscape.
My favorite part of the job is getting to watch employees grow and develop through their careers. It gives me a great deal of satisfaction when we run a program, for example, and we get impact from people about how it's made a difference professionally, but also how it's made an impact on them personally.
ICE has established itself on its core competencies: integrity, collaboration, communication, leadership, and problem solving.
We tie a lot of our programs back to those core values and the behaviors that support those. I think learning and development really fits within the culture of ICE just by the nature of the organization.
It is up to you to be vigilant, curious, inquisitive, ask questions. That will help you succeed in your role.
Welcome back to the trading floor here. Joining me now with a pulse on the fans, I know what our viewers care about, is Matt King. He's the CEO of Fanatics Betting and Gaming. Matt, thank you so much for joining us. We're happy to have you down here on the floor of the stock exchange. What is this season shaping up to be based on what you're seeing?
I think it's going to be a great season. I mean, the best part of the beginning of the season is the fact that everybody's got hope. Everybody thinks their team has a shot at winning the Super Bowl. But we got a ton of users on the platform. We got a growing business and a product that people really like.
What is some of the action that you're seeing, especially as we know the season officially kicked off last night and heading into the big Giants game on Sunday?
So obviously, lots can change in week one. What you know for week one is the Giants are a slight underdog going into the game, but a majority of the money is on the Giants to cover. So you got a lot of people that are believing that the Giants have a shot to get through week one with a win.
How can people take advantage of Fanatics Sportsbook across the country? Where can they find it?
So we're in 23 markets, basically everywhere all the other major operators are. So right here in New York City, you can take advantage, as well as all over the country, anywhere where sports betting's legal. Just download the Fanatics Sportsbook app, and we are the most rewarding sportsbook out there.
It is Fanatics' first full NFL season since the purchase of PointsBet. How does that acquisition help?
So what PointsBet did was it really brought great trading technology as well as some scale. So we were able to execute the fastest state rollout that the industry's ever seen. We went from 4 states at the beginning of football last year to 23 markets this year. So really it helped us accelerate the plan we were already executing.
And in terms of how important this NFL season is, I'm sure it is probably at the very top priority for your business versus other sports, of course, that our viewers can bet on.
So I would say NFL is just one big factor into what we're doing. I mean, we look at the business as having a 10-year kind of growth plan. And if you look at this season, you got college, which is back, which is hugely popular. You got football. You still got a lot of people betting baseball. And then just around the corner, we got NBA coming back.
Of course, experience is the name of the game these days in terms of getting fans engaged. We saw the Fanatics Fest. Tom Brady, probably not a fan of many Giants fans here today, Matt, but he was at that Fanatics Fest, I do believe, in New York City. How are you looking to engage the fans to participate?
So Fanatics Fest is a great example of what we can uniquely do at Fanatics. We've built the most rewarding sports book. We talk to fans as a sports brand. And one of the things we've been able to do at Fanatics Fest, where we had over 200 athletes and celebrities there, was give every single one of our users that was there from the sports book a unique experience. They got to meet their favorite players. Some of them even got to catch a pass from Tom Brady. And so just really create money can't buy experiences that people have never had before.
So as the NFL season officially kicks off, what's next for Fanatics? How do you see your season playing out?
So we're just going to continue to get the word out there about what we're doing. What we've seen is people love our product, people love the brand, and they love the rewards that we offer. You can earn up to 10% back in fan cash with every bet that you make. You can use that fan cash to buy merch, to buy collectibles, or do anything else in our ecosystem. And people are really enjoying that. It's really resonating. And so really it's just about continuing to scale the business.
And in terms of scaling the business, will we see it in more markets?
No, we're pretty much in every big market where sports betting's legal. So as new markets open up from a regulatory perspective, we'll be there on day one. But for now, we're just focused on taking share in the markets that we're in.
So I saw Taylor Swift at the opener last night, the Chiefs versus the Ravens, and the Chiefs won by 7 points. Pretty impressive. Is Taylor Swift still a big factor getting people to your sportsbook and, of course, these NFL games?
So Taylor Swift is just a great story in sports. She's done a lot to bring more people into football. So I would say the more fans you have, the more people that are going to be on our platform, and it's great to see it.
I think we're going to leave it there, Matt, but I so appreciate you joining, of course, Matt King with Fanatics. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend of football watching.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. All right, well, let's take a look here at the floor. Behind me, of course, the markets off to the races. And we did get a big jobs report this morning. So in addition to the celebration of the Giants, a lot of market action and focus, as it always is. And I do want to bring in my colleague, Trinity Chavez, who's going to join me with more. Trinity, the interview with Victor Cruz.
I was going to say, your interview with Matt was fantastic. It's interesting to hear how the whole dynamic has really shifted when it comes to the entertainment sector, athletes, the sports sector, and then just what it does for the economy. So I mean, it's really a great day here at the Exchange, and we get to talk. And then we did the salsa, Victor and I.
I know. Those were some great moves.
I was disappointed, though, I have to say, because I had my iPad and I didn't have my full flexibility. So I mean, next time he said he's going to come back and give us all a few lessons.
I think it's a viral video, to say the least.
Oh, I hope not. But anyway, I'll get better for next time. But
are you going to be watching the Giants game on Sunday?
Of course. I'm going to be rooting for our team. I mean, come on. I can't, show favoritism. But, I mean, they are the New York Giants. They're here at the Exchange. And, we have such a great relationship with them. And then two iconic institutions coming together. 100 years of the Giants and then 230-year-old institution as the New York Stock Exchange. And it's really just amazing to be a part of it. And we get to broadcast it here on NYC TV Live together.
Absolutely. I so enjoy that, doing this with you. And of course, you're right, two iconic institutions. And here in the Northeast, obviously, many Giants fans as well. You walk around this trading floor and you see a lot of people rooting for the Giants. Some Jets fans too, but I can tell you, I don't think there are any Patriots fans in the house today.
I don't think so, no. But, it'll be interesting to see how everything plays out on Sunday. I know, where are you going to be watching the game?
Well, probably from the airport, because I actually have a trip. I'm going to be off next week. Right. You're going to be holding down the fort, but I think the airport is a good place to watch it.
Amazing. Well, it's going to be a great time next week, and I will be holding down the fort. But anyway, I think that just about does it for us here at the Exchange.
Yeah, I see out of the corner of my eye here, we got a mixed market, stocks trying to move a little bit higher in the wake of that jobs report.
Yeah.
But we'll leave it there. A really fun celebration today here at NYSC TV Live. I'm Kristen Scholler.
And I'm Trinity Chavez. Have a great day.
In life, I'm reminded that it's not about the destination. It is truly about the journey.
My pleasure to greet you today from the center of the U.S. capital markets here at the New York Stock Exchange.
I want to just take a minute and not just talk to the people that are in the room, but I want to speak to the rest of the team around the globe. These are people that made this happen, and I know that there is no way we would be here if it wasn't for you.
Everyone at Flutter is proud to join such a distinguished list of companies on this great stock exchange.
Not many people get to do something big in this world, and we get to do something truly special.
This is such a wonderful place to both look back and look forward. Look how far we have come. I'm so optimistic about what lies ahead. It has been a privilege to be with you.